be dead.
There have been a few updates since your day.
One question that still remains after the events that occurred on the engineer colony of Paradise after the USCSS Covenant ventured there is what became of the synthetic Walter. Walter was seemingly killed by the android David 8, however, no crew ever reported seeing him fully dismantled or destroyed. So, did Walter survive? And if so, when and where might he pop up again? Information collected by the project on this topic is limited, however this data log will largely be talking speculatively anyway. The most important thing to conclude first is whether or not Walter could still be functional or not. While Walter was not seen again after his battle with David 8, we still think there is a good chance that Walter might still be operational, if only partially, before their battle in the Hall of Heads. David 8 had already attempted to shut the synthetic down following Walter's refusal to join David 8 on his unholy crusade to create monsters to unleash on humanity. However, this attempt was later realized to have been fruitless. David had severed a vital cable from Walter's neck, effectively disabling the synthetic. However, what David hadn't realized was that there had been a few updates since his model's release. The Walter 1 model had regenerative abilities, allowing it to make automatic repairs to their bodies. When David 8 had begun to assault Daniels, a crew member of the USCSS Covenant, Walter returned to save her. David, caught off guard, now knew of Walter's abilities to self-repair. During their final interaction, Walter seemingly had the upper hand and came out on top. It isn't until later the crew discovered David 8 was masquerading as Walter after seemingly having destroyed him and leaving his artificial carcase on Paradise. David infiltrated the crew of the Covenant, planning to use them to further his dark experimentation. So, depending on how bad David was able to damage Walter would determine how likely it is he was able to repair himself. There's a very good chance that using a loose piece of rubble or something of the like from within the Hall of Heads could mean that David completely caved Walter's skull casing in, destroying his AI personality core. However, let's instead imagine the damage wasn't enough to decommission Walter, but instead simply keep him incapacitated long enough for David to escape with the Covenant crew to the ship in orbit. If Walter was in fact only temporarily shut down and later recovered, what is the next steps for him? Well, while he is seemingly now stranded on Paradise, there are a number of engineer vessels below the surface of the planet. Whether or not they are operational or not is another question, considering David 8 never made an attempt to leave prior to the arrival of the Covenant. This might have been on his own volition, we just don't know. Another interesting theory that has cropped up about Walter's stranding is his possible interaction with the engineers. Some have suggested that Walter, left to his solidarity on Paradise, might have eventually been visited by other engineers, arriving to investigate the loss of contact with one of their colonies. It's also possible that Walter might have been able to summon them using some communication technologies left behind in the decimated engineer city of the dead. From this point, anything could happen. The two might team up to go after David 8 and his planned brood of predomorphs. However, what's more likely is that they would destroy and salvage any data they could from Walter in order to stop David 8 themselves and bring an end to their creation's mess. However, all of this is simply speculation and depends on a lot of maybes to be taken as a real possibility. If you really want to support what we do here and gain a bunch of awesome rewards, consider joining as a Project ACHERON channel member like company representatives, the Sith Lord 906, Lewis Perkins, Jack Fleming Jr. and Scott Jardine, or like our team members Raunchy, Ambrosia and Vladimir Chernikov. But until next transmission, this is Project ACHERON, bringing the knowledge and the power directly to you.